I was mentioning before because Bill Simmons was super defensive on behalf of the legacy of Bill Belichick and that Bill Belichick's legacy will not be impacted by this ending because history doesn't remember the punctuation. History remembers the statement before the punctuation. And Phil Jackson's legacy obviously is golden forevermore. But if you're someone like Phil Jackson or Bill Belichick who wants to keep working in his 70s, what good is a legacy being untarnished if you can't actually get jobs that you want anymore despite your legacy? Like, you can tell me it's not going to impact the way that you think about someone 100 years from now, but while they're living right now and they can't work in their business anymore because the ending is such a disgrace that Belichick can't work in the pros anymore and that Phil Jackson couldn't get a job right now if he wanted one.
That's why it is going to affect Belichick's legacy. That's exactly what, like, Phil Jackson could have kept coaching after the Lakers if he wanted, could have had any job he wanted. And matter of fact, when he wanted that Knicks front office job, he got it. Belichick can't get an NFL job.
I think both of them are proof that you can tarnish your legacy. Nothing is untarnishable if you F up as much as they did, right? With Phil Jackson, he could have kept coaching the Lakers. You know why he wasn't a coach at the Lakers or any other coaching job? Because Phil Jackson wanted to coach home games only. All right, bro, like, you got to know when to hang it up and step back at that point. He became a head of a front office with zero front office experience. He talks about, I didn't want to hire Derek Fisher. I wanted to hire Tony Bennett. But Tony Bennett wouldn't do it because his kid was in high school. I mean, buddy, that's the job. That's the job, but he didn't understand the job. So to me, it's a great corollary, Dan, between the two of them. The only way I think we remember them kindly, sadly, is after they're dead. But as long as they're alive, all we're going to remember is how it went down.
I think you guys are overstating the dent that this puts into Phil Jackson. The Knickerbockers are, to me, just an afterthought. I mean, he did it with the Bulls and the Lakers, as you know. Bill Belichick has really wrecked his legacy, in my opinion. It now stands to me, if on either side of Tom Brady, he was a mediocre coach, mildly successful, I guess, with the Browns, but in total, Belichick has really done some damage. And obviously, people want to genuflect to him, legend and all of that. But the stuff with the woman is weird, and that also dents his legacy.
Let me ask you a question, Dave. Is it your opinion? I'm not talking about public opinion. Your opinion that Bill Belichick maybe wasn't that great of a coach?
That is exactly what I am saying. The magic of Tom Brady is hard to put your finger on what exactly he figured out about pro football that made him thrive and win over. I'm not saying Belichick was a passenger along for the ride, but he was really playing at the fringes when the bulk of the work was being carried by Tom Brady. Clearly.
Belichick coached in the NFL for 10 years minus Brady. One playoff win.
Yeah, but Brady wasn't coaching the defensive side of the ball, though. So, like, there has to be some sort of, like, all right, Belichick did something. It wasn't just Brady doing everything.
But
Brady's
Brady
on the defensive meetings like, all right, guys, let's go.
But Brady then went somewhere else and won.
Brady's amazing.
Brady won a Super Bowl 13-3. That's not Brady winning that Super Bowl.
Yeah, like I feel like we're really oversimplifying kind of everyone's contributions, right? That first Super Bowl, when they beat the Rams.
One touchdown pass the entire postseason for Tom Brady that year that they won the Super Bowl.
Good stat from you.
He was just an incredible defensive mind, and he put together some solid offenses. Also, remember the Matt Castle year? Am I the only one who remembers the Matt Castle year?
When they didn't make the playoffs. Yes, I do
on,
remember that one.
The Dolphins year.
And absolutely, quarterbacks, when you have the man and he's still on his rookie deal, as has been oft discussed, you can really load up on defense, and that's what's going to carry the day. There have been a number of guys in the 21st century who are high-end QBs who won Super Bowls more because of the defense. Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger, the first one against the Seahawks, and Tom Brady, that first Super Bowl against the Rams. Of course, that one is stained by the Spygate stuff, and there's Deflategate, and there are a number of, the TB12 stuff and everything else. I think there's all a stink on that entire Patriots era, as glorious as it was for Boston sports fans. I think it will loom and does. It's not what's going to be in 100 years. Right now, it has a stink on it.
Tony finds out what gave me 30 seconds of him talking, he's biased. He's absolutely biased as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Talking about stuff from 2003, 2004, when you were in the running for making Super Bowls. Dude, I hear it. That's it. Tony found out. Dave Dameshek, bias.
What Dave Dameshek is saying is that Bill Belichick should have checked himself before he wrecked himself. And you can bet on that.
I don't think that's what I was saying.
Your signature line. You have said, though, you have declared that the legacy is indeed wrecked. And I just don't know what value a legacy has if it's not going to be wrecked 10 years from now. But right now, when you want things that cash in on your legacy, you're
Someone
not
say cash?
someone who can actually cash in on your legacy.
Cash Patel Hassan is what my name is. Dan, the reality is, I think you just hit the nail on the head. And let me take this off so I can differentiate that I'm not Cash Patel Hassan right now. I'm Mino Hassan. The reality is, legacies
loud jacket.
don't matter. They don't matter if they only come posthumously, right? Pete Rose, if he goes into the Hall of Fame, like, who cares? He didn't get to enjoy that. And that's really what it's all about. And that's why I think it is something that you need to be cognizant of as you're an older individual in sports, is not doing things that have the potential to ruin it. I think Phil Jackson, it's not just the failures with the Knicks, Dave. It's also like the LeBron's posse stuff. It's like a lot of out-of-touch kind of old generation white guy stuff that he said that kind of really mucked it up. If he had just been a failure, a great example is Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, by all accounts, was a failure as a basketball executive and as a basketball owner. He's still Michael fucking Jordan, though. So, like, when it's insights to excellence, I'm there. Phil Jackson can't have an insights to excellence segment on national TV because everyone's going to be ain't that the dude that was saying that LeBron just has his boys around and that's it? So that's the part that I think is the corollary with Belichick. I think Belichick's failure is one thing. I think the bigger thing is, like, you're making an ass out of yourself with this girl and all that stuff, and that's the part that really threatens it. If he was just merely like, oh, he's not winning anymore, I think that wouldn't be quite as crazy. Another example, I know I'm rambling here, but I was thinking about Larry Brown. Larry Brown, Hall of Fame career, legacy of jumping from city to city coach. Like, his last couple of jobs were all in college, and, like, he coached a high school team. But it's Larry Brown. Nobody says
loves basketball.
He loves exactly.
Loves
That's all that
basketball.
comes out. Like, Larry Brown loves basketball. He wasn't wildly successful towards the end of his career. We just give him that grace. I think it's the scandal portion of it that does a lot of the tarnishing.
Well, but one of the things that Dameshek is saying here that I do think sort of bears repeating, Phil Jackson is 11 championships. Like, it's not 7 with one quarterback. It's 11 championships.
2 different places.
11 championships, ladies and gentlemen, with Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kobe Bryant. And it wasn't the same quarterback the whole time. It was still Hall of Fame, elite talent. And don't get it twisted. And Dan Le Batard, you of all people, should remember, coaches, if you don't have players, what are we talking about? This is talent-driven business.
Okay, but hold on. Like, he got to the Lakers and took over a team that had Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. They weren't any good.
They hadn't won.
They weren't any good. They won 57 games.
They hadn't won the championship.
Oh, wow, they hadn't won a championship. Like, look, guys, you can't do that. You can't act like they were like, oh, my God, what are we going to do? How do we play basketball? And Phil Jackson comes in and says, give it to the big guy. What a genius. We never would have figured that out. Look, I'm not trying to discount his contributions. What I'm trying to do actually is the same thing for Belichick. It's like, yes, these guys put great talents in positions to be successful, but we cannot just throw away the idea that they had great talent to begin with.